This is the Cafe Racer Podcast, episode 104 for February 18th, 2017. I'm Crash. All right, so I'm here with Tom John from Purpose Built Moto out in Gold Coast, Australia. How are you?
Good, mate. How's it going?
Good, really good. That intro went off pretty nicely. My phone didn't, do something weird and not play the song. So yeah, pretty good.
We're
No
on a roll
complaints.
already.
Yeah, off to a good start. Let's see. You and I have been chatting about getting you on the show for far too long, in my opinion. I totally dropped the ball on that, and I apologize.
That's all right, mate. It was a busy time of year.
Yeah, and I didn't even think about that. So when I said, I've been super busy, you're like, yeah, I've had a really busy season too. Like, it's been your summer out there.
Yeah, summer on the Gold Coast is it's a pretty hectic time out here.
The name Gold Coast sounds like it's beautiful there, but I have no idea. Is it?
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah,
it's the best place in Australia.
Okay.
No, it's a pretty big tourist hotspot out here, man. It's beautiful.
Cool. What kind of not motorcycle related at all? What kind of touring? Like, what kind of tourism? Like outdoor stuff? Hiking, that sort of thing.
Yeah, so the Gold Coast is nestled between like some really great surf beaches and the hinterland that's not too far behind that. So you got a bit of everything out here, but we have some like really famous surf beaches. So you get a lot of surf tourism and then just like a beach culture.
Nice. That sounds really cool. Maybe if
It's
I
not a
ever
bad
make it out
place
to
to be,
Australia,
mate.
I'll have to go there. So I'm pretty sure we could talk about non-motorcycle related things all day, but this is a motorcycle podcast and you build motorcycles, so we should probably talk about that. What is Purpose Built Moto?
Purpose Built Moto kicked off in 2015. I registered a business name because I started getting a lot of interest online in the stuff that I was doing and the parts that I was building as well. So I chucked up a website and started selling parts that I make for my motorcycle, and then people started contacting me to have bikes built as well. So just kind of snowballed from there.
Wow, that's pretty cool. What is your motorcycle?
It's a 1980 GS 550. I chopped and changed, and I put a Ducati rear end on it, and I did a fork change out on the front of a GSXR. And then I do a lot of custom work and stuff on it.
Cool. The GSXR conversion seems like the thing that's very common, pretty frequently seen.
Oh yeah, it's a hot spot at the moment. Everyone's doing it.
I think a lot of it is just how many, how available. I cannot speak. The availability of parts and stuff, for the conversion. Like, there's just GSXR front ends all over the place.
Yeah, that's true. And I also think that the forks on a GSXR are a little longer than standard than you have comparatively to the R6 and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Don't quote me on that, but I think which makes them a little more suitable for that older style bike because the forks are generally a little longer.
Yeah. Your bike in particular is like this really, really good looking black and copper sort of theme. I'm a big fan of the way it looks. So what kind of parts do you make?
So I started making parts that I couldn't find. So I needed like some small switch blocks, and I wanted a nice muffler and stuff like that. And in Australia, the availability is kind of -6. So it's either really expensive to find something or almost impossible. So I could do 3D design and modeling. So I started modeling parts and had them produced, and that's kind of how it all started.
Yeah, I was going to ask like how you got into that. Like, what's your background prior to this?
I'm an electrical technician. I work in like heavy mining and industry, and then also I have a bit of a background in engineering and kind of taught myself how to 3D model on the basis of that.
Okay, like AutoCAD.
Yeah, exactly. So I just I could always 2D and do kind of drafting and stuff like that. But then I jumped into 3D because that's what you need to be able to spit out CNC products. So that's how I
Sure.
got going.
Wow, that's really cool. The uh, the Ducati. Which Ducati rear end is that?
So I took the rear off a 97 model 748. So it's a single sided swing arm. And I had the suspension rebuilt so I could get rid of the suspension linkage. So it's got a custom rear shock on it that just runs
Okay.
straight. And then I ripped the wheel off a Ducati 848. So it's got that nice like 10 spoke Marchesini on it.
Yeah, it looks really good. I like the whole aesthetic of the bike.
Yeah, it's a little different to your standard kind of cafe racer. I get a lot of people that are like, the purists. They're like, oh, it hasn't got a tail bump, or you don't have alloy wheels on a cafe racer. And I just stick the big middle finger up to them and tell them I'll build whatever I want. Thank you.
Yeah, it's like, well, I wasn't going out to do that, so
Yeah, you don't have to ride it.
yeah, I I have a newer Triumph Bonneville, like not the new, like I have a 2009 Triumph Bonneville, and I don't even really, I never really had a plan for how I wanted it to look. I just said, oh, I want this thing to have rear sets and clip-ons, and so I did that, and then I was like, oh, I've got these big leather saddlebags that look really stupid, so I got rid of those, and then things have just kind of gone. And then I let the stupid thing fall over in the bed of my truck and dented the crap out of the tank, and that's how I ended up repainting the bike because I bought a new tank, but it was purple. It's like, well, that isn't going to work. So
What's wrong with purple?
it just everything else was blue on the bike, and this purple and white tank. I was like, that doesn't match at all. So repainted everything in its desert sand color. And
You
it
get
just kind
that
of
bike fall
evolved.
over in the bed of your truck. You got to be like, oh no, now I got to get the grinder out.
Yeah.
It's a good excuse to chop it up.
That dent down the side of my tank was really made me really unhappy because the bike was fairly pristine. It was ridden. You could tell that it was ridden, but like it wasn't. Nothing was, looking rusty or dented or anything. And then I've got this like 6-inch long just crease like into the side. And a friend was like, "Well, just put a sticker on it." I was like, "Have you seen how big that thing is?"
Oh, that's horrible, man. Enough to make your eyes water.
Yeah. So I found a tank on eBay and stripped it down. Which, I can say one thing: that the paint, that purple paint, was on there really good. It was
Yeah, they
hard to
don't
get.
muck around on the new ones. The old ones, some of it, you look at them sideways and the paint falls off. But
Right.
I've had a couple of newer tanks, and they're a bit of an ordeal to strip.
Yeah, I ended up using. I got like the increasingly caustic stripper. I got like the regular everyday stuff, and that didn't seem to be doing anything
Oh yeah,
until
you
I,
got
I
that
worked.
stuff over there that if you breathe in too much of it, it makes you sterile.
Yeah, I worked my way up to aircraft remover,
Yeah,
which I think is a really funny name for a product. It's just called aircraft remover. It doesn't say aircraft paint remover.
yeah, you're not allowed to take that stuff to airports.
It's like, what do you do? Is it you pour it on the aircraft? It's gone. Just gone. It's been removed.
Yeah, that's it. Done, dusted.
Yeah, this product dissolves jets. Have a nice day. So do you have any other products, any other projects that you're particularly proud of?
Uh, Proud? No, I don't know, but I got a lot of projects that I've done.
Yeah,
It's like you're one of those guys that I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, so I could
sure.
never really just stare at something and say, "Oh, it's perfect,"
It's like
But
it's done.
um, recently, I've had a spat of scramblers coming through. People want me to build them off-road kind of bikes, which is cool. I think that's like the next thing to hit will be,
It's
the
definitely, yeah.
knobby
It's
tires
kind
and
of,
the dual-purpose bike, which is cool.
yeah. It seems to be supplanting the cafe racer.
Yeah, yeah. And trends will always move and shift. I guess I still like the bike that you could take off road and then the bike that you have for the street. But if you can have something that can do both, that's pretty rad too.
Yeah, I see you've got a GN 250 scrambler. that you've got on your gallery. That looks really nice.
Yeah, thanks, man. That guy was he was like the first guy to contact me. So I chucked my website up and I had an Instagram page going for it. And this guy contacted me. He goes, "Hey man, do you live on so and so street?" And I said, "Yeah, I do." "How the hell did you know that?" And he goes,
Right.
"I noticed, so I have these like timber walls in my garage that I put up." And he goes, "Oh, I've seen in your pictures all the photos with those timber walls." And he goes, "I drive past that every day." So he lived like right across the street from me.
That's funny.
And he had this GN 250 that he bought for a couple $100 and off some guy that he worked with that had a half-ass crack at modifying it, and he welded this a box section hardtail on it, which was awesome. You know, with the standard bird shit welds, and
That doesn't.
so
Nothing about that sounds pretty. Like,
no, it was horrible. So he brought it over, and we kind of got to chopping on it and put a new subframe on the rear, and went from there. It's actually his first kind of bike. He bought that thing, and he didn't have his license yet, so he spent a bit of time doing it up on the weekends, and he would drop over and give me a hand or whatever if he wanted to, and then that's the finished product. So he's cruising around on that thing on the Gold Coast with his learner plates on,
making a ton of noise.
Oh yeah, it's a noisy little thing. I prototyped this kind of high-rise muffler for it that kind of comes up the side of the bike, and as it was the first one off the shelf, it's a little too wide open for a 250, so it's nice and noisy.
It's a lot of noise, not a lot of back pressure.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Is that I don't know anything about the GN 250. Is that a 4-stroke?
Yeah. So it's a single cylinder.
Head, so yeah.
Yeah, single cylinder 250 with a dual port exhaust.
Okay.
They're like a bulletproof engine. They've made them since the 80s, and you can go down to a Suzuki dealership today and buy exactly the same engine off the shelf. They call them a TU 250 now, and they're starting to make a cafe racer kind of throwback with them now as well. They got like a little brat style seat and stuff.
Yeah, we have the TU 250 here.
Yeah, it's the same deal.
We probably had the GN at some point. I just don't remember it.
Yeah. They're actually, I think they use them as like postage bikes. So the mail delivery bikes in South America. So they're like cancer down there. They're just everywhere.
Wow. I read a book from a guy that wrote an Australian postie from Sydney to London.
Damn, it must have had a big snorkel on it.
Yeah. Yeah, he had to take a couple of boats.
Yeah.
But yeah, he had one that was like pretty done up. You know, it had the dirt bike gas tank on it too.
Yeah.
So he had, the dual tank situation going and everything.
Those
seat.
They're a CT 110, and they're kind of renowned for being bulletproof. We have guys that will kind of lift the suspension and chuck a set of knobby tires on them and use them to cross the desert. So the Simpson Desert down in Australia, they have this like a club run that they do once a year where all the guys jump on these 110cc bikes and cross the desert on them. They're pretty mad.
Wow. So how did you get started riding or, working on bikes?
I grew up on a farm, so it was kind of a natural progression. As soon as I could ride a push bike, I wanted a dirt bike. So
sure.
I used to ride dirt bikes with my buddies, and there was just bikes around, living on a farm. You have guys across the street, and I would like help someone move their house or whatever. And someone I actually got a XT 500 for helping this guy move his house. So that was like this old beat up bike that I did. And I think at one point my mum really got the shits at me because I had about 8 bikes when I was 16, all kind of all over the shed and in different stages of completion. I was always tinkering with something. So that's what kind of got me into it. And then as soon as I was of age, I grabbed a road bike and started with those.
Nice. What was your first road bike?
My first road bike was a GSXR 600. So I don't know if you guys have the same laws over there in the US, but down under we got a restriction, so you can ride up to 600 cc's, like a tuned down 600, up until the time you're 22 or something like that. But
Okay.
I didn't want to ride like a boring cruiser or like some loud as anything, like a CBR 250. They were learner legal, but they're just horrible, you know, those old things. So I ran the gauntlet and bought this GSXR 600, and it was, you know, faster than I knew what to do with. But so I
Sure.
rode it. I did ride it illegally for a good 6 or 12 months and just never got caught, which is great. But better that than riding something the equivalent of a bathtub, you know. I ride to
Yeah.
have fun. I don't ride to be bored in the saddle.
Right. We don't have laws like that here. There's a couple states that have a tiered license system, but it's only basically if you take like the course that they that state offers,
Hmm.
um, and so basically you've only taken a test on a bike under 400 cc's, then you only get a license up to 400 cc's, and then
Yeah.
if you take the test on a bigger bike, then you get to ride a bigger bike. So you could literally
God
have
bless
ridden,
America, eh?
yeah, you could have ridden no time at all, and some states don't even do that. I mean, when I lived in North Carolina, you could go take a written test with no driving test at all and get a learner's permit. And the only thing the learner's permit said you could not have a passenger.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, we have
it.
that.
And you could ride by yourself on any motorcycle. You could go buy a 2300cc Triumph Rocket 3, your first bike, you know, bigger than some car engines, and then drive that thing around. You just can't have a passenger. And then in 18
Yeah,
months, you got to go renew it.
you can kill yourself, but no one else.
Yeah, I think you can get a couple people with that 2300 with that Rocket 3 though. Like not many bikes. I don't think many bikes will do much will do too much if you hit a car with them. But that thing's basically a car.
Yeah, you'd probably be safer on one of those than those little smart cars that they push around.
Yeah, maybe. The I marvel at that thing. Like the engine in its big is the same size as like a Ford Fusion or Mondeo. I don't know if it's called the Mondeo over there.
Yeah, we got those down here.
Yeah, the Fusion and the Mondeo are the same car. It's the same size engine that they put in that thing. It's ridiculous. It's huge. It's a family car
That's right.
with 2 wheels and 3 cylinders.
Yeah, I never had the pleasure of riding one, but I don't know if I'd be big enough. I'm a
Yeah,
pretty
I don't
small
know.
guy. I like a nimble bike.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that subscribe to riding fast on a slow, small bike is way more fun than riding slow on a big, fast bike.
Yeah, I've never thought about it that way, but 100% I'm with you on that.
Like it's something that you can just take the piss out of, and then, it's super light, and you feel like you're just wringing its neck, and you're staying relatively within, some legal limits, or
Yeah, it's a lot
not
harder
like,
to lose your license doing that kind of thing.
yeah. And then when you hit like a really twisty section, you're not overwhelmed by this gigantic machine.
Yeah, too right. I know guys they're kind of like 110 kilos. So what's that, like 220 pound or something in your numbers?
Yeah, in the weird, in the
They've kind
imperial
of,
system.
yeah, they'll ride a CB 250 or something like that, and they won't upgrade because they just love wringing this little thing's neck. And when the throttle's ended, if they're on the throttle stop, they know they're doing a good job. So
That's funny.
I guess each to his own. Good on them.
Yeah, I was a little nervous. I rode my wife's Suzuki GS 500 out on the interstate in California, and everybody goes 80 miles an hour out there.
Oh
And
man, don't talk to me about American highways. I I did a trip through the Canadian Rockies. I like hitchhiked with my backpack through Calgary, and me and a buddy went kind of hiking and lived in hammocks for a while. And then I made my way to Vancouver and jumped over the border to Seattle.
Mhm.
And I bought myself a 1989 Softail off this like hot rod builder in Tacoma, and rode
Okay.
it down to San Diego like over 5 weeks or so.
Yeah.
And I kind of took this thing for a burn, and it'd do 70, 75, and that was kind of pushing it along a bit. And I thought, yeah, that's cool. You know, the speed limit is like 65 or something on most highways from
Right.
memory. And then you jump on this highway and no one gives a damn about the speed limit. That is kind of like
Nope.
flying past you. So I'm sitting there, like, I'm going 70 on this 4-lane motorway outside LA, and people are just passing me like I'm standing still. And it was pretty intimidating, especially when they're like semi trucks and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm riding on the opposite side of the road already, you know. It was a nervous couple of rides, especially in the inner city areas around LA and San Diego.
Yep. Those are the like that. I, that part of California. I live in San Diego now, and it's very very fast paced on the road.
Oh yeah,
I was
it was a
I was
good time
driving.
though. Like
Yeah.
I kind of come down that tourist highway along the coast. I think it was a 101,
Yeah.
and just kind of lived in my hammock for a while. So those roads are really nice. And
It's gorgeous.
but then you got to jump onto the interstates and stuff like that. They're pretty hectic.
Yeah. I have to commute about 25 miles on the interstate to and from work, and there was one day that I was riding along. I was going over 80. I don't know, somewhere between 80 and 100, and the cop, a motorcycle cop, pulls up alongside me and just like does this with his hand, like, you know, like kind of, hey, slow down just a little bit. Like and that was the extent. I didn't get pulled over. He was like, hey man, slow down a little bit. And then I gave him a thumbs up, rolled off the throttle a little bit, you know, and went back to riding. But like, where I am in Florida right now, it's completely the opposite. The speed limit's 55 on like all the highways, and everybody goes about 45. So it's coming from a place where everybody's like, what's a speed limit? Never heard of it. You know?
Yeah.
So out here, I'm like, you know, I'm like shaking the steering wheel, getting mad at everybody.
Down here in Australia, we have a lot of fixed speed cameras. So there's like, you don't even have to have a cop on the end of them. They're just like this pole that sits on the side of the street. And if you're going past at any rate of speed, it's like an automatic fine. They're super strict down here.
Do they
I was talking to some of my my buddies in the US about it. They're like, they can't do that here. That's an encroachment on our freedom. They're all about the freedom.
Yeah, there are some cameras. I don't know if they still have them. There were some speed cameras in Arizona when I went through there, and then there's red light cameras, like stoplight cameras.
Mate, you name it, we got it.
Yeah,
we're bubble wrapped down here.
Does the camera have to get your face, like if you're speeding?
Nah, mate, they just get your number plate and that's it. You're done and dusted.
Okay. I know that there's, like in Japan, I think it is, they have to get a picture, like the picture has to include your face. And so like, I remember Top Gear making a joke, and like they had like another person's face on a little piece of cardboard. They would just hold up when they knew they were going to pass a speed camera. They just held up this other person's face.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I was younger, I used to, you know, I'd get done for speeding or something like that. And when you first get your license, you only have a certain amount of points that you can lose.
Sure.
So if they didn't get a picture of your face, some of them do, some of them don't. You'd be like, hey, Ma, feel like taking a speeder fine for me? You know, I'll pay the fine and she takes the points just so I don't have to lose my license. She was cool like that.
Funny. Nice. My mom would be like, no.
Yeah.
That's your
Learn
fault.
your lesson. No, she was cool.
My driving record is awful, though. Like, just absolutely awful.
My mum's is horrible now.
Is it because of you?
No, it was.
So you make some parts. You build some bikes. Do you have any projects going on right now?
In the garage right now, I have an XT500 that I'm working on. I also just kicked off a CX500 build, which really seems to be all the rage right now. So I had this bike sitting out the back for a while. You know, like it's a Honda twin. They kind of copied the Guzzi engine. It's like a V-twin.
Okay. I don't know why.
Horizontally opposed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've got one of those at the moment that I've just that'll be like a complete build. So I try to get one or two of those bikes a year that kind of are cut down right to the engine cradle and then build it up from there. but I always have a lot of stuff coming through. You know, it'll come in for a new seat or a new tail cowl, but CX500, I'm going to do something pretty wild with it. I'm hoping to do a bit of carbon fiber work and stuff like that. And with
That's exciting. So are
yeah,
these like, is this like a commission bike, or you bought the bike and you're going to build it and sell it?
no, so I had the bike, and it got to the point where if I was to build it for myself, it would just never happen because I constantly have people bringing me stuff to
Right.
do for them, you know. So I ended up selling to this guy on the proviso that he leaves it in my garage and we'll do it up, and that's the kind of motivation that I need. So if I was building something for myself, it'd just take me forever.
Yeah, yeah, I totally get that. Like it's motivating because he's the one who's like, "Hey man, you got my bike done yet? You got my bike done yet?"
Yeah, that's exactly right. Exactly right. So, and with kind of starting up a business and trying to get it off the ground, it's the paying customers always come first. So
Yeah,
if
absolutely.
I was to do it for me, it would just be a matter of like doing it in between the bikes that people want me to do. So if he's got it and he wants it done, then it's the motivation that I need to get into that damn thing.
Sure. Um, let's see, what else is there? Well, first of all, this thing, where can people find you? Like if somebody's interested in like ordering parts or just checking out your, photos or whatever, how do people find you?
Yeah, so purposebuiltmoto.com is my website. There's also like an online store there as well. So I make like stainless steel mufflers. I do LED lights and some kind of like replacement handlebar switches at the moment. I'm always like working on new parts. So I got like headlights and brake lights coming out and all that kind of stuff. But I do proprietary only products. So everything there is kind of designed in house. It's not like bought from a warehouse and slapped my brand on it, which is
Sure.
what I kind of aim to do from the outset. Because a lot of the part stores that you visit is just like it's all the same gear, you know. And that's
Yeah.
why I started building parts to begin with, basically.
Okay. Cool. I'm actually looking at somebody at your shop now. Um, the I like like everything looks really tight and nice and clean looking.
Yeah, I'm a
Uh,
bit of a minimalist like that. I don't like, I like it all tidy, clean, and there's no real flash or show. It's just what it is what it is.
cool. Do you have an Instagram? You mentioned you had an Instagram. Do you still have an Instagram?
Yeah, of course. That's like my main driver for business. Everyone likes pretty pictures, right?
Right.
So my Instagram's purpose underscore built underscore moto.
All right.
Yeah,
So purpose underscore built underscore moto.
that's the
I
one.
um I I was on Instagram the other day looking around and I saw um a woman. My wife and I were actually talking about it, and she's a woman who rides her motorcycle, and I guess I don't know, she's maybe an actress or something, but like most of her pictures and stuff like that are motorcycle related, and every single one of them is just like Instagram perfect.
Oh yeah.
Um, and I was like, okay, cool, whatever, that's your thing. But she posted a thing that was like, you know, I'm sick in bed all day. I wish I could go out and ride. And it's a picture of her face, and she's got like perfectly done makeup, perfectly done hair. She's got like a little scarf on. It looks really cute. And I got like offended, and I unfollowed her.
Yeah,
Like if
if
you
you had
had,
like if you had a shot that was like zoomed out a bit, you'd probably see like some lighting towers, a camera team, the hair and makeup chair in the corner.
right,
Yeah, oh, I'm
like
so sick of bed. Like, better get the camera crew out.
yeah, I get. It's like if if you had enough energy to do all of that, you probably had enough energy just to throw a helmet on and go for a quick ride.
Yeah, it'd probably make her feel better.
Yeah, it'd be way more fun than doing your makeup. I mean, unless
Yeah,
you
that
really
kind of
enjoy
stuff.
doing your makeup, like whatever. I'm not knocking people
That
that like to do their makeup.
yeah, that kind of stuff drives me wild as well. Like, even kind of, we have a lot of it, just girls, and I mean, not it's not just girls, people that are just kind of like in the motorcycle scene for the fashion of the whole deal, and they have these ridiculous pages where everything's like picture perfect, and I don't know.
Hmm.
I feel the stuff that I take is like just raw, cut up bullshit in my garage that kind of, and people, I think they appreciate the honesty. It's not like I'm not building bikes in a photo studio.
Right. It's like this doesn't. It does not look perfect all day every day.
Yeah, exactly right. It's kind of hard to look perfect with a head like mine anyway.
I noticed in some of the pictures in your gallery, is that you with hair?
Oh yeah, I used to have hair.
How long ago was that?
I literally just shaved my head off. I don't know if you are up to speed with the weather down here in Australia, but it gets damn hot. And not working in an
Oh,
air conditioned workshop, I'm kind of I could wear a towel around my head and around my neck and just to catch all the sweat. I'm working in a little sauna out here,
okay. I am not up to speed with the weather in Australia.
mate. It's hot, and that's all about you need to know.
So, how does the beard retain a lot of heat? Is it just like you can't get rid of it? Nope, can't. It's like no, refuse to get rid of
No,
the
mate.
beard.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of who I am.
Okay, all right.
Thanks to my Italian dad, I've had to shave since I was about 14 years old. So having a hairy face has kind of become who I am.
Yeah, you probably can't even tell that there's any stubble on my face right now. I haven't shaved since Thursday. My Thursday, so your Friday.
Yeah, me either.
Right. Yeah. You, you and your great big bushy beard. I I I am in a field in the I work in the military, and we're supposed to be clean shaven every day, and I can get away with shaving like twice a week.
You're a lucky man.
Yeah, it I guess everybody wants what they can't have, right? Like I would love to be able to grow a beard, and then I'm sure like if I had been able to grow a beard this whole time, I was like, damn, I just wish I didn't have to shave all the time.
Yeah. Dude, when I bought that Harley up in Seattle, the guy had like a highway windscreen on it. He
Hmm.
goes, man, if you're doing a long trip, you're gonna need that windscreen. And I thought, all right, whatever, I'll give it a crack. So I was riding this thing back from Tacoma to my friend's house at Seattle. I was just crashing on the couch there. And as soon as I got up on the highway, so the windscreen would block the wind coming onto my face, but it kind of let air in past the headlight and stuff like that. So it was hitting me on
Right.
the chest, and kind of from the chest, it would flow up towards my face. So I spent this like an hour ride between the two cities with my stupid beard like blowing up past my nose because all the air was traveling in like an upwards direction. It
Yeah.
was horrible. So the first thing I did when I got back to my friend's house was like unscrew this windshield and like I, for lack of a better word, punted that thing to the curb. It was the most
Yeah.
annoying ride of my life.
It's like this has got to go.
It was the windscreen or the beard, and I had a lot more of attachment to my face hair.
Sure. Yeah. My father-in-law, while I've been in Florida, rode my Bonneville, and he used just like once to make sure that everything was to work and make sure the battery wasn't dead, stuff like that.
Yeah, see
Um,
how fast you could get it, see how many gears it'll wheelie in.
Zero. Well, maybe one. It's
Well, you're not trying hard enough.
Yeah, you got to try really hard to get that thing to wheelie. Um, I have had the front wheel about an inch off the ground, maybe once, and I mean
Ooh, we got a badass over here.
I'm not good at wheeling at all,
Yeah, me either.
but it does not power wheelie. I'll put it that way. You really got to like hammer the clutch in order to get it up. Um, he usually rides a big BMW touring bike, and
Yeah.
he complained to me later. He's like, I'd have to wear a different helmet if I was gonna ride your bike. He's a typical 3/4 face helmet is what he rides in,
Hmm.
and on the bike with no windshield, on a cafe racer style bike, it just becomes a parachute.
Yeah, for
Like the
sure
wind
it
just goes
does.
in the sides and tries to pull your head off the bike. I tried
Yeah,
to
you
ride in
need.
one of those Bell 500 custom, helmets for a little while, and I find myself just like cinching the neck strap down until the point that it almost hurt just to be able to
Was
ride.
it the open face style?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I ride with an open face thing, but if I'm going for any kind of decent ride, it's full face or nothing. Otherwise, it just gets to be a pain in the ass.
yeah, like smaller, like anything under like highway speeds, I think is great with an open face. Like it feels really nice. But like doing highway speeds in California and you're doing like 80, 90 miles an hour, it's
Yeah.
not comfortable.
No, I'm with you on that.
But he's used to riding around basically like a chaise lounge with, damn near fully enclosed.
Yeah, they got the heated hand grips and the radio in the front.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think it
see,
might even have like the little vent in the windshield so that you can let some air in when you want it.
that's luxury, mate.
Yeah.
I see, like down here, the bagger scene is starting to hit, you know, and I'm
Mhm.
noticing more and more of these big like road kings. I think I'm not really up to it, but those big bikes with like the stereos and stuff, like in the front piece, and they'll come
Yeah.
past and like blasting their radio. And you're like, mate, you're on a motorcycle, you got a loud exhaust. Be happy with that. Like,
Yeah.
just get immersed in what you're doing and stop worrying about the local news or your stupid Garth Brooks music. Get out of here.
That's I'm imagining now that you mention that, I'm imagining somebody like hearing like like a talk radio station while they're driving down the road. It's
Yeah,
just
they're listening to like a current affair show.
yeah. That would be that just sounds really funny. Like so in AFL news, the Sydney Swans have won the championship, and you're like, what is he listening to?
Yeah, that's right. That was a pretty good accent.
Thanks. I've listened to another podcast that's like a tech podcast, and like they would always talk afterwards about the Swans in like
Oh
Australian
yeah, that's
football.
a footy team. Yeah.
Yeah. Um. The other day, Jess and I, my wife, when I was back in San Diego for a couple of weeks, we went on this ride, a Mods versus Rockers ride, and then afterwards we went to go get food, and we came upon a guy on a Harley with speakers in it, listening to, I don't know if you know the song by name, but it's called Sandstorm. It's a techno song.
Yeah, I know the song well.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's a super old techno song, and we pull
Hey,
up, and he's
it's not old. It's not old. It's timeless, mate.
you're right. You're right. I mean I've been at an air show and seen the British like paratrooper team, like show team, do a synchronized parachute thing to the song.
That sounds magical.
It was pretty cool. But it was just funny, like we pull up and he's just like probably in his 50s, maybe older, biker looking dude.
Yeah, he
Like
hates the
American.
song. He's just there for the show.
Yeah, and he's sitting there listening and like and like there's people standing on the curb like looking over like, is this guy for real? Like, is
Yeah,
he really listening to this song right now? Like in traffic? I've also heard like Britney Spears blasting out of some motorcycle stereos before.
that's
That was
like
always
like that embarrassing song that you have on your mix, and you normally skip past it, but they're on a motorcycle, so they can't get to their iPhone or whatever. They're like, shit, everyone's gonna hear this.
oh wow.
They listen to like Backstreet Boys or some bullshit.
Yeah. Like
When I was hanging out in LA last year, my buddy took me up to Snakeback, which is like this epic riding road up in the hills. I think it was on like Mulholland Drive or something like that.
that
And then
sounds familiar.
we stopped by Neptune's Net afterwards, and that's like
Okay.
there's like a big biker cafe right on the beach.
Yeah.
And these bunch of dudes rocked up on those baggers with the huge stereos, and they were all playing their music kind of to spite each other. Like each one was louder than the next, and it was all different music. So I can imagine riding in a group like that, it'd just be a shit show, you know?
Yeah, like a cacophony of
Yeah, it's just noise.
not even music at that point. So when you say the baggers, are you thinking like this? These are like the bikes like they have the ridiculously huge front wheels too, right?
Yeah, those are the ones. And the air ride suspension in the back, they kind of drop it on its ass when they park up. They're kind of cool
Right.
looking, but for my taste, it's not really a motorcycle. Just get a car, bro.
Yeah, I've heard a couple people call them just ass jewelry.
I love that. I'm stealing it.
Go for it. It's not mine to to steal anyway. Yeah, it's sort of to me is like the pendulum swung from like choppers, like the Orange County choppers thing that was on American TV for a while.
Oh man, if you talk to any chopper guy about American Chopper, they're like, they ruined motorcycles.
Right. Yeah. That like weird craze kind of swung. I mean, Honda came out with the Fury, which is how you knew it was dead. Like,
yeah,
like we know the trend is dead because Honda built one. And then,
thanks guys, you blew it.
Yeah. It's like the canary in a coal mine for that scene. And then the cafe racer thing started to get really big, and then now I think the baggers are coming up. Like they're sort of like the thing that is counter to cafe racers, because cafe racers seem like counter to the chopper thing. Like, that's stupid. You can't ride that motorcycle. I'm going to build this retro bike, following along with the trends of the bikes in the 60s. And then now the bagger is like the next like flashy paint job, loud, obnoxious, fat guy thing that's sort of running counter to the cafe racer.
Skinny guys can ride baggers too, mate. Let's not put them in a box.
You're right.
I think, but you would never. I don't think you'd ever catch a guy riding a bagger on a cafe racer. It's like the whole cafe racer deal. As much of a trend as it is like they're built for riders. And they're raw. You take them on the road. They're like noisy. They corner well if you build them right. And they're made for the twisties and just to go out and have a blast on. They might smoke and leak oil and shit because they're old, but they're a hell of a ride most of the time. But then you jump on these big things and it's more of a lounge room that you can take up to the bar. You just jump on that thing.
I guess that's the biggest thing. Like there's the bikes made for the rider and the bikes made for the bike. They want their bike to look pretty in front of the bar. And there's definitely some cafe racers that are pretty in front of the bar.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's sort of like there's definitely like a scene that's they get together and they ride about 6 miles every time they ride. And they go from one bar to another,
Yeah, I'm with you. Mate. Can I just have 1 second? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, go for it. So, while we give our guest a minute, I'll talk real quick about. I'll thank everybody that listens to the show. That's what I'm going to do. And look, he's back. But
I'm sorry, man.
No, you're fine.
My bulldog got inside and he's just chewing something. I had to stop him before he ruined my hat.
Okay, this is like you're like doubling for Steve. Steve always has to corral his bulldog as well whenever we do.
Sorry, mate. That was horrible of me. I apologize.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's just funny. He's almost always like, "Hey, man, can you hear that?" My dog is like freaking out. I'll be right back. Hold on.
You gotta love him.
Yeah. What kind of bulldog?
He's a French bulldog cross English, so he's just like a big pile of idiot. We just adopted him from a shelter not too long ago. He's about 6 years old, but he's got the mentality of a puppy. He's a good time, but he can be a bit of work.
Yeah. Does he sleep in the same room as you?
Oh no, he snores.
I was gonna say. Yeah, there's no way you could, unless you have a lot of other noise, that you could stand the.
That's exactly right.
Is he like a giant pile of wrinkled fur?
Pretty much. Yeah. He's a good time. Like, he's got a great personality and whatnot, but you know, he's pretty intense to be around at times.
I was while you were gone, I was like kind of thinking. I was talking through my thought process of what to say while you were gone. You were back so fast I couldn't even really decide. But I think we're going to kind of wrap things up. I will throw out where you can find us, and then I'll probably have you say where you can find you again, and I'll thank a few people. So I'd like to thank Rob for supporting us on Patreon. He's our newest supporter, and Scott, Tyler, Chris, Jay, Ryan, Travis, David, Chris, Andrew, and James also. Thank you guys for supporting us on Patreon. We're on patreon.com/Cafe Racer Podcast. You can find us pretty much everywhere at Cafe Racer Podcast, except for Twitter. It's just Cafe Racer Pod because they wouldn't let us have that many letters. But Instagram, Facebook, all those places, CafeRacerPodcast.com as well. And thank all of you for listening. Tom, where can people find you?
So you can find Purpose Built Moto on the Gold Coast at purposebuiltmoto.com and purpose_built_moto on Instagram.
All right. Well, it's been lovely having you. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, cheers, Chris. It's been a blast.
Take it easy. Get out and ride.